the message that we heard at church this week. And it was dealing with the story when Jesus had been preaching to a multitude. He was out on the boat on the Sea of Galilee. And when he was done, he asked his disciples to, push farther offshore. They needed to, go across. Something I'd never thought about before. And I know that it's true with me. If you ever have to speak in public or do something, kind of a big project that is out before people, you get a lot of adrenaline going. And Jesus, though he's God, is also man. And possibly he had a lot of adrenaline going as he's sharing the message with them. And then the next thing that happens is that when it's all done, you begin to calm down and that adrenaline drops. And what really happens then is you get tired. And so maybe that's why Jesus went into the bottom of the boat and fell asleep so deeply that he didn't notice the rocking of the boat, the pounding of the waves during the storm when the storm came up. Maybe that's why. The other thing that I learned is that the Sea of Galilee is about 700 feet below sea level. And it's kind of surrounded by mountains. So storms can appear to come up very suddenly because those mountains are hiding them, and then boom, there they are. And that's what's happened to Jesus and the disciples when they were out there, and anybody else that was out there on a boat too. Well, the disciples went and they tried to do everything that they knew to do during this storm. And that's what we do if we run into problems. What I do when I run into problems is I try to do whatever I know to fix that problem. That's my first reaction. Then, when they went down in the bottom of the boat, they saw Jesus, and he was close, and he was sound asleep. And they had quite an attitude. They were convinced they were about to drown. They were dead men walking. That's what they thought. So they tried to wake him up, and it didn't work at first. And then they cried, "Master, don't you care that we are about to die?" Jesus woke up. And he stood up, got his balance, stood up, and he said, "Peace, be still." And he was talking to the water and the wind, and it heard him. And the wind stopped blowing, and the waves stopped crashing, and the sea became calm again. And then you know what happened to those disciples? It said they were afraid. Well, they had been afraid before, terrified they were about to die, but this was a different fear. This fear was when they realized who was in the boat with them. Who could speak to the storm and it had to obey? They had to realize that was God. And he is. The other thing that I got from this message was that how close Jesus was to them. He was very near. He was just on the bottom of the boat. And when I run into the storms of life, and I do, I need to work on remembering Jesus is near. And he can calm that storm. He can stop it. Because he's all powerful. So he can stop my storms. He can stop yours too. Well, I just thought you might like to hear the message that I was able to hear this Sabbath. It was very good. There was a man from the Oregon Conference that came down, Pastor Jonathan, but I don't remember his last name. So it was a good message, and I hope you enjoyed it. This is Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. I want to pray blessings on you and yours, in your house, out of your house, in the day and in the night. Whatever you do, keep dreaming. And remember, Jesus is near.